Episode 32, Dad, I missed you so much. Natalie froze on the spot when she saw Bryce. She was unable to react. The words she wanted to say were stuck in her throat. Running through her mind was the last conversation she had had with him a few days ago when she had told him she would be leaving the country. Without realizing what she was doing, she pulled Liam close to her and took a couple of steps back. What if he thought she had been lying? He wouldn't let her off easy, right? Liam's eyes lit up when he saw Bryce, and he quickly rushed over to him. He hugged his leg excitedly and said,
"Dad, there you are. I missed you so much."
Samuel, who was sitting next to Bryce, was speechless when he heard what the little boy said. He looked like a good boy, but Samuel wasn't sure if he was joking or not. He had just called someone his dad, and that someone was Bryce. Everyone knew that Bryce was a cold-hearted man. Once someone had angered him, even if they were a child, they would not be spared. Samuel quickly went over to Liam and said to him, "Little boy, you have the wrong person. This man isn't your dad. You can't go around calling him that so casually, all right?" He was about to squat down to Liam's level, but the boy ignored him and stared at Bryce. His expression was very pitiful. Samuel was a bit embarrassed to be ignored by the boy. He said to Bryce, "Bro, don't get angry. Kids say the darndest things." As he said this, he quietly gestured to Natalie to take her child away. Seeing that Bryce wasn't angry yet, he felt a bit relieved. It would be unthinkable if he got angry because there would be nothing he could do. Natalie understood what Samuel's gestures meant, but she was slow to react because she still hadn't recovered from the shock of seeing Bryce. She had said she was leaving the country, and now she felt as if he had caught her red-handed. Wasn't this similar to digging your own grave? But there was nothing to be done now. Hopefully, he wouldn't think she was lying to him. She glanced at Bryce, just as he looked at her as well. There was an unknown light shining in his eyes. She felt her scalp tingle as soon as their eyes met. That was it. She was a goner. She had known he would be angry if he saw her again. She didn't know why she cared whether he was angry or not. She quickly went up to Liam and pulled him away, but Bryce was quicker and picked the boy up and sat him on his lap. Natalie and Samuel both looked at him in surprise. Bryce ignored them and asked Liam, "Did you have enough to eat?" Liam shook his head, indicating that he was still hungry. After all, who would be in the mood to eat when horrible people like that came into the restaurant? Bryce immediately put his food down in front of Liam. He said, "Then eat some more. Don't let yourself get hungry." Liam was ecstatic. He had never eaten with his father before, and he was excited. Just as he was about to tuck in, he said to his stunned mother,
"Mom, come and eat. Don't let yourself get hungry."
Natalie felt helpless. She knew it would be rude to refuse, so she could only bite the bullet and sit down next to Bryce. For a long while, she didn't touch her fork. Samuel, who was still standing, finally came to his senses. He looked at Bryce in surprise and asked, "What just happened?" Bryce was holding Liam on his lap. He looked coldly at Samuel and kept quiet. Bryce had not denied that Liam was his son, and this left Samuel in total shock. Not only that, but he was hugging the boy as well. Could he be this boy's father? Samuel was on the verge of exploding, but he didn't dare ask Bryce about it, so he sat quietly and secretly observed their interactions. Natalie sat at the table and kept her head down. Bryce stared at her coldly, which made her very uncomfortable. She didn't know what to say. What she really wanted now was to take Liam and run away. If this continued, she thought she would faint. But Liam did not feel the tension between the two of them. He rolled his eyes and said cheekily,
"Daddy, I missed you. Mommy has been bullied by bad people. I am not strong enough, and I couldn't protect her."
He felt really sad, and he suddenly burst into tears as he thought of his mom being bullied. Bryce's heart softened. He was very concerned for Liam, so he said, "Tell me what happened." Liam gradually stopped crying.
"It's all because of my nasty auntie. She didn't let Mommy leave when we were at the airport. And when Mommy was looking for a job, they didn't let anybody hire her. And today, they were mean to her. They caused a lot of trouble."
Bryce frowned. When he'd overheard the argument, he'd guessed why Natalie hadn't left the country, but now it was confirmed. He hadn't known so many things were happening behind the scenes. No wonder this woman had applied for a job at the lousy Star Entertainment. Now the doubt in Bryce's heart was resolved. Although he did not respond to what Liam had said, the anger he felt in his heart disappeared. His attitude toward Natalie changed. He realized that she must have been too busy arguing to eat before, so he said, "You have something to eat too." Natalie waved her hands and said, "It's all right, I'm full." He must be joking. She had already troubled him enough. How could she bother him any longer, let alone eat with him? Bryce didn't pay any attention to her. Instead, he raised his hand to get the waiter's attention and ordered the dishes Natalie had been eating before. The waiter took the order and left. What had just happened? Samuel was extremely shocked. It seemed they all knew each other. What sort of relationship did they have? And Bryce himself had ordered food for this woman. This was too far-fetched. He had been holding in his curiosity ever since Natalie came into the room, and he couldn't stand it anymore. "Bro, is this your wife? Shouldn't you introduce us?" Natalie was embarrassed and blushed. Before Bryce could reply, she said, "Sir, you've misunderstood. I'm not Bryce's wife. My name is Natalie, and this is my son Liam. I came in here to thank you for helping me just now." "My name is Samuel Hammond, and forget it. There's no need to worry about it." Samuel was very polite to Natalie, but he kept looking at Bryce, waiting for him to respond.